Hey y'all. So I wanted to talk about regrets on your deathbed. I wanted to talk about creative life flow energy and how it's here for you and how you can use it. And 3, how difficult life can be living and some things that we can do to make it a little bit better. So first and foremost, my creative course begins next Wednesday, and it's 5 weeks of you with you. So the whole intention of the course is to really slow down and create a lot of space and opportunity for growth and transformation of your beingness. So less about the doing, because we can have all the tools. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's about the one using the tools, you. So we've all had the experience of learning something or taking a course or reading this article or listening to this podcast and then being like, yeah, but how? Like, great, I have some awareness about it, or like I've understand it conceptually up here, but how does it actually make my life better? How does it actually change the way I feel about me, or how does it actually apply to this relationship, right? So working through the lens of the body with embodiment practices and somatically, you actually change your way of being, who you be. You literally change the shape of your body that it takes around beliefs or around things, and you begin to open and to transform and create lasting change. Because that's the other thing we all know about, right? We pay for an awesome weekend and we have like really powerful and it's amazing, and then 2 months later we are right back where we were. Right? Anyone ever had that experience? And so we want to create lasting transformation. Like, I don't want you to have to continue to you can obviously continue your journey however you want, but I want this to be something that is lasting. So yeah, letting the body lead. That's what this is all about. And I know that the word somatics and embodiment and all of that juicy mindfulness and embodied meditation and everything gets thrown around, so you can be like, well, what the heck does that actually mean? So I wanted to say briefly this quote from The Art of Somatic Coaching, one of the great books out there. Richard Strozzi, To work somatically with someone is to work with the unity of their being. In contemporary speak, the soma is often referred to as the living body in its wholeness. Somatics, then, is the art and the science of the soma. So working with your wholeness, with the unity, with all in the fullness of who you are, that is so important, because I feel that's where most of the pain and suffering and dissonance and disconnect happens, is us feeling like we're not whole, us feeling like we're just stuck in this little identity, and we don't like it. It doesn't feel good, because our bodies always know. They know that this disharmony is happening, and they long to come back into alignment, back into a unified whole. And so I really work with, in this course and also just in my one-on-ones and all the spaces and places I facilitate in, is how to work with your wholeness. Because you coming home to you and really being here in your body and feeling like you have capacity, like you have your energy and you are aligned and connected, is freaking powerful. Like, that's empowerment in a nutshell for me, is like you standing in your wholeness and feeling that capacity and being able to live life from that place. It's a lot better. So creating an empowered relationship to your body, to your emotions, to your thoughts, to your feelings, because this is another thing, let me know if you can relate to this, of becoming identified with the feeling, with the thoughts, with the story, with the emotions. So that's another thing that this course creates, is space. So space between who you actually are, your essence, your wholeness, your true higher, like whatever you want to call it, like your who you be, versus like then the space in between of like the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions, right? The raw sensations, the life that is here, space in between, so that you can create and cultivate your capacity to respond to those events and experiences. There's an equation out there, I've shared it before, E plus R equals O. So the events and experiences in my life, you can add emotions in there too, plus my reaction or response to them equals the outcome. So a lot of times we want to change the events, the experiences, the emotions, or the outcomes. But where does the power really lie? In the R, in how we choose to respond. And that is something that I believe has to come from embodiment and somatic, because we can change the awareness around it, and that's very important. But our nervous system, how our nervous system reacts to triggers and traumas, that is something that you need to work with in the body and the mind. But to have that like dropping underneath the narrative and the story and beginning to really befriend the nervous system and to start to change some of the wiring, right? Neuroplasticity, all of this stuff that we now know is true, which, you know, it's like, it just makes so much sense once you start to dive into it. You're like, oh, because once again, like your body knows. It's like, oh, thank you. I've been trying to do this. I've been trying to get your attention with all these like emotions and obsessive thinking and trying to like wake you up at night. Like, hello. So, the intuitive mind. So this is another quote to help like solidify this idea. Albert Einstein, pretty cool dude, right? The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So that is another piece to coming into the body and letting the body lead. Because what if you had 3/4 more of you at your beck and call, available to you? The energy, the wisdom, the intelligence, the resourcefulness. We live very cut off and disconnected, and so a lot of this course is a coming back, is a plugging back in, is a reconnecting, a rewilding. So the whole first week is about rewilding, because we have forgotten. Like, we're animals at the end of the day, and that holds the key to so much. Like one of my favorite people working with that has stuff out there for trauma, books and audios and everything, Peter Levine, he really talks about how trauma is a biological thing. And so to come at it from that approach of I'm an animal in an animal body, and how can I become empowered in that relationship? How can I remember how to be supportive to my nervous system, how to take care of myself? So all of this stuff is just so cool to me. I did want to talk about the deathbed. So this has come up now in several different places. Tara Brach spoke about it, Tammy Lynn Kent in her book Wild Creative. It's the regrets that people have on their deathbed. So they're so many have the same, that this is like what they've encapsulated as the main regrets that people have. So 1, I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So breathe that in. Can you relate to that? I feel that there's so much, it's so sticky for me. Like there was so much of my life that I was not living true to myself, and it's still something I catch myself in all the time. Like even first knowing what is true for me, what really is true. In the course when we share, we really speak from what's true for me in this moment, what's alive in my body, really cultivating that voice. Because for many of us, I didn't even know for the longest time what was true for me, what I was feeling, how to express it, what was going on. I just felt at complete war. And so knowing first what is true, and then being able to live from that aligned place, that aligned, connected place, aligned with your purpose, your commitment, and living from that, taking aligned action from that. It's very different than how a lot of us have been kind of conditioned to live. 2, this one I think we can all raise our hands. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. So this course is really about igniting your creative life force energy so that you can use it for whatever you want in your life. Yes, it can be a creative project, or it can be creating a baby, making life, making, your art in the world, or cultivating a family, or gardening, whatever. Like, your creative life force energy should be for you. And you should know how to be in relationship to it, how to cultivate it, how to nurture it, how to turn it up, how to move with it, how to flow with it, so that you're living life like going down the river, right? Instead of swimming and battling your way up the river at every freaking turn. 3, I wish I had had the courage to express my feelings. So first knowing what you're feeling, right? And then bridging that, being able to express it. It's so empowering to know first what you're feeling, how you can be an empowered relationship to that feeling, how you can support yourself so that your feelings and emotions aren't the ones behind the driving wheel, steering wheel, whatever. And then being able to express it, right? How many of us have had the fight with our partner where it's, just tell me why you're feeling that way. Tell me what you're feeling. Like, what's going on? Just tell me what's happening. And you being like, I don't freaking know. So that's another thing that we can learn to cultivate. I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. Yeah. It's so challenging right now, right? We feel disconnected, and we have a lot of our relationships now happening on a screen. And so to still feel those deeper connections with people, to be able to talk about, to be vulnerable and to really speak deeply, and also to play and to laugh and to be open in those ways. It comes first from you being able to do that with you, in my experience. And then last, I wish I'd let myself be happier. And I think the key word there is let myself. So one of the things I dive into in the course is play, is pleasure, is how to allow yourself to feel good. Because a lot of us, at least for me, I can speak, that was something that was not welcome. That feeling good for no reason, feeling happy, feeling pleasure, like those were not acceptable things. First of all, I wasn't worthy of feeling them. Second of all, those aren't productive, constructive, feelings, waste of time. And 3, like, it is almost like a stuck up, like selfish, life's just like so great for you, and like you just get to be happy. Like, life is hard, like you're being, whatever the different stories are we have around us, not allowing ourselves to feel good, right? Waiting for the other shoe to drop, like, you were a sucker, like you were just playing like off in La La Land, and then life swooped in and kicked you in the butt. You should have been ready. All of these things, right? So the gist of it is that we're missing life. We're running through life. And I know for me, I want to have a deep, full, rich experience of being alive. So a lot of the work that I do in this course is designed to support you in finding that for you. Because it's not like I can just tell you like, these are the things and they work for me, so they will totally work for you. It's more about creating that sacred, safe space for you to come home to what is right and true for you. So I wanted to share a quote that I feel like encapsulates and closes this whole thing. It's Matt Licata, and he says, "When it is impossible to claim for even one more moment that you are unworthy of the wild, untamed love that is your birthright, your perception will be cleansed, and you will realize you are home in the sacred world that has always been here and is already the holy ground on which you stand." So the good thing is, it's already all here for you. Everything you long for is here. Creative life force energy is here. Your wholeness is here. Your capacity to love life is here. It's just a matter of clearing and cleaning and kind of peeling off the layers and then befriending and reclaiming and coming back home, rewilding, replanting yourself in the universe. So this course is designed to do that because I think we all need help with that. We've all been conditioned in one way or another to forget who we really are. And it takes being in a collective and being in a sacred space, I believe, to really let that unfold. Like, we were never meant to do any of this alone. Humans are pack animals. And there's something like, I mean, they've even studied it, like with nervous system and like being able, like when you're with another human, being able to self-regulate more or having that attunement. And even in a digital space, I still witness it. So working you with you in a space with other bodies, doing that for them is freaking powerful. Like, I can't tangibly put words on it, but it's potent. So that's another thing that this course offers. And I don't want to go too long, so I think I'm just going to wrap it up with one more quote. D.H. Lawrence, because I talk about Wild Creative is in this for a reason. One, Tammy Lynn Kent's book, Wild Creative, is amazing. Two, us coming back to our wildness, to the fact that we're animals on this earth, from this earth, and being able to connect to life in that way, I think is something that we are freaking starving for. So that's why this quote, good for that. For the truth is, we are perishing for lack of fulfillment of our greater needs. We are cut off from the great sources of our inward nourishment and renewal, sources which flow eternally in the universe. Vitally, the human race is dying. It's like a great uprooted tree with its roots in the air. We must plant ourselves again in the universe. So, that's that. And I really hope that you join me on this course because it's 5 weeks of you with you and it's embodiment practices. So it's creating lasting change in your body, in who you be. It starts next Wednesday, February 10th. The early bird sale goes till this Saturday, so a couple more days. So take advantage of that. And yeah, it's super affordable, and reach out with any questions. And I really hope you join me.